We are live. Hello, everyone. This is Ninja DC joining again for another podcast recording. Hey, I said podcast first. It's finally wearing off the React. For the second, for the second recording of the new year, 2022. Which hopefully I've seen a meme of it like being. It can also be pronounced 2022,
Right.
but I prefer not to think of it like that. Positive energy. But anyway, joining me again is Carlos.
Hello, everyone. This is Gun Gator here, aka Carlos here. Hopefully, you are enjoying yourself and honestly, get yourself invested in a card game because this is probably like some of the best years for card games right now.
You heard it here first.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. The next up by random Skype order, Jenn.
Hello, I may be first, I may be last, I may be partially bald doing to tearing my hair out because of Twilight Princess, but I am first and always Jenn. Hello, everybody.
Then next up is Second Day.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
All right, welcome to the podcast. Take your shoes off, stay a while, get comfy. We've got something to talk about. Where are my notes? Oh well. It's gonna be fun. Or something.
We'll
Take my word for it.
Second podcast with second.
Boom.
Yay. There we go.
The second podcast of the second year of the 2020s with the second day.
Yay!
I think there is a theme here.
Yay!
All right, who wants to go first with what you've been up to, media-wise and such?
I'll go first because it'll be real easy. I have not been busy with anything media wise. I've been trying to ignore the media.
What happened with Twilight Princess then?
Like I said, that has been consuming me for a while, and like I said, I might or might not be partially bald due to tearing my hair out.
Yeah.
Because of a certain lakeside temple. It's driving me insane.
Oh. Are you on the underwater part or something?
Yes.
Oh no.
But the worst part, the worst part was? The worst part is that the water. Wait a minute. Is that this temple is like the second one to do so after like dealing with the fire one with the Gorons and everything. I was like, okay, cool. And then Lakeside one, I'm like, and then all of a sudden I got flashbacks to the water temple in Ocarina of Time, and I was thinking like, this isn't like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to give us a heads up, like when you first said Twilight Princess, I thought you were talking about Twilight, and it took me a while to realize you were talking about Twilight Princess, the Zelda game.
Yeah, Legend is Twilight Sparkle has nothing to do with this Twilight Princess. Twilight Sparkle, I absolutely love you. This is not what we're talking about. This is your evil twin, Twilight. Actually, speaking of Twilight Princess, screw Midna. Midna. I cannot stand Midna. I don't like her.
Ooh, that's a controversial take.
No.
That's a controversial take. That's a controversial take for sure.
Well, okay. I will let it stand. I will let it stand. I will not back down from this. This is my personal experience. If you like Midna, yay, good for you. But then again, I'm only probably not even 10% into the story or something. But from what I've seen, I cannot stand Midna. Now I am open to the fact that something may happen and it may change my mind. But for now, I don't like her.
Yes.
No, from what I understand, because I haven't played that one, that said I really want that ported to the Switch. That and Wind Waker. I really want those two ported to Switch. Come on, Nintendo. But yeah, from what I understand, I think that's sort of supposed to be intentional. She's supposed to be a little bratty and spoiledish at first.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yes.
Little bratty.
Okay. Derek, you misunderstood Midna. It's not a little. She is a ham. She is the entire case. That is how much Midna is. Especially to Link.
Exactly. Right now, I know like Midna. I don't like her right now. I don't like her right now.
Maybe
and
you
I
don't
do
like.
not like the lake, and I do not like the level. I do not like the map designs of these level of Lakeside Temple.
Oh yeah,
and I am very,
Lakeside.
very bad at, and I am very, very bad at directions.
Oh no.
Well, to be fair, I don't think has there ever been like a positively received water temple.
No, there's not been any positive water levels ever in any game.
Somebody, what is it about Legend of Zelda water and purposely making water levels absolutely mind-numbing, soul-crushing, hair-tearing out of your head, insane? What is it? Why? I don't understand.
No.
If I find I'm going to have this kind of time during the rest of the temples, we're going to have a very big problem.
Yeah.
I don't think of it, even in movies, are water scenes, like in a movie where the primary setting is not underwater, has, hey, let's go to an underwater scene, ever been that good either.
Aquaman.
That's primarily set underwater.
Yeah, because it's Aquaman.
But there's a part where they're on.
Yeah, they have land parts, but the primary setting is underwater, just like Little Mermaid, Finding Nemo.
Or what about Moana, or more Moana, when the ocean is supposed to be your friend?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but how many? Do any scenes? I mean, I know the crab scene technically takes place underwater, but he's not in water when he's doing all of his things. Like,
no, that's true.
There are no scenes that take place underwater.
You know, it's supposed to be. It's like supposed to be underwater. It's like supposed to be underwater, but yet it's not. I've never figured out what Lolotai really is, other than a place full of freaking monsters, and for all the creature designers of Pixar to flex.
Yeah. Luca, the underwater scenes were the boring ones.
And also for, just in case you had, now I'm drawing a blank at who played Tamatoa. Just for the shiny song. Although I will concede for the shiny song. For the shiny song is awesome.
Yeah, again though, he's not really underwater when he's singing that, is he?
But yet it's like, okay,
I mean,
if
he's
you look
literally
at
underwater, but they're not in water, right?
No. Exactly. Yeah, they're like underwater, but they're not in water. It's like, what the heck is Lolotai supposed to be other than a place full of monsters?
Yeah, that's like that James Bond movie that went all in on using all of its latest tech to record fight scenes underwater, so you get what amounts to a James Bond underwater ballet that everyone who's not just determined to rant about how great the technology is to be able to film and choreograph that wants to pull their hair out watching because it's so darn boring and it goes on forever.
Now that you said that, now for the next Summer Olympics, I want to see a synchronized swimming team doing a routine to James Bond. I don't care which country it is.
Oh, hang on, that would be nice.
I don't care which country does it.
Routine as they are fighting.
Yeah. Yes. I'd be like, I don't care which country does it. It just has to be done,
Jermaine Clement as the
That's
crab.
it. Yes, that's him. He's the one who sang. He's the one who, I believe, he sang the shiny song. He's also the voice of Tamatoa.
Tamatoa.
Well, Tamatoa hasn't always been this glam. I was a drab little crab once. Love that.
Come on, you'd help me off my back if I had a Jamaican accent and sang songs.
I love that ending. It's so good. I love that. That's such like a jab and a callback to the Little Mermaid. Well, that was clever. So clever.
Yeah, actually, that made me think first time in a while. Sebastian might be an underrated MVP in that movie. He's responsible for how many of the scene stealer songs in the movie? 2?
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know, Little Mermaid. Is it? just thinking of this right now, is that a contender for, I mean, not necessarily best songs, but like most scene stealer songs?
Like which one?
Little Mermaid. It's got Part of That World. It's got Under the Sea. It's got Kiss the Girl. It's just all these songs that are just like meant to just like elevate, just take a minute to elevate these set pieces to ultimate scenes of whatever. Heck, I even remember that first one. The princess is something, great father who loved us and named us well. The rest of the song is shrilling their names. And then there is the youngest presenting her to you. Our proud little sister, we're presenting you to. So that what's he's called? Sebastian, with her voice is like a bell. She's our sister, Ariel. Yes, Daddy gave birth to an invisible sister.
And of course,
she didn't survive. She succumbed to SIDS, and we just didn't tell him. We didn't have the heart.
And then there's like King Titan is like, oh man, she had just one job.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, all of the sisters is with an A too, so it's like,
It's like, why? I'm like, really? That's what we're going with? I'm like, really? That's what we're going with? All your kids named after just one letter? I'm like,
great father who loved us and named us well.
Well, okay. For King Titan, King Triton, I could probably understand why, because if you remember, in the second movie, we find out who his wife is. So, okay, if he probably did that because he in memory or because he loved his wife so much, then. Fine. But at the same time, I'm like, can't somebody have some originality here?
Yeah.
It should have been like everybody a name and then what is that, Olga or something?
Yeah.
Or everybody gets different nicknames or something. That'd be cool. Like, we call this one. We call it like it's Adana. It's Adana. What's your name? Red. Or like, Atina, what's your nickname? Black. Or Galana, what is your name? Screechy.
Well, yeah.
Hi. All right, we've probably tangented enough.
Yeah. Okay.
What else have we been up to? Well, I guess it's our turn.
I guess for me. Oh, wait. Right now. Sorry. I was going to say that, like, the whole thing for me was I been watching some stuff recently, you know, like watching like the watching like the Netflix movie Hilda and the Mountain King.
Hilda and the Mountain King.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a really good continuation from season 2 for that show.
I really got
honestly,
that show.
Yeah, honestly, feels like I could have bookended the series on there alone, but we're getting one more season.
Ooh.
So get ready for probably one of the best series we probably have on Netflix.
Interesting.
Nice.
You might have to get wired down the flower stuff.
Yeah, got a few things on the list.
Mm-hmm.
I've been so distracted. I've forgotten the fact when I had a week full of we had a week full of like nobody in the house and I didn't watch any Netflix. I am disappointed in myself.
Mm-hmm.
So continuing on, there was also some new news about like for Digimon Ghost Game, in which after 15 episodes we finally get the last evolution of the third member of the team, the girl.
Oh.
It took them 15 episodes. Everyone's not happy about that.
Wow, that sounds not good.
Yeah.
Was it worth the wait then?
Let's just say it was worth the wait for a certain part of the fan base.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
How about that?
It's basically a lot of fanfare for essentially what comes to a male version of Renamon, basically, for champion form. And yeah, you know what that does with that information. It's legitimately King Kazuma from Summer Wars as a Digimon.
Oh my goodness.
It's pretty insane, and he's voiced by Zoro from One Piece.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. And he acts like a gentleman too. It's like the perfect combination of an awesome brawler who acts like a gentleman. First tamer.
I love gentlemen thieves.
We're just having
gentlemen
fun
villains.
with that. Let's see. Over on our end, I don't know. We've been, checking out any of the most discussable things. Like, I was watching Daredevil, but I kept finally getting caught up on that. But yeah, I feel like it's a little bit late for that to be news.
No.
Hey, I bet you all didn't know that Daredevil was good, huh?
Oh, no. Daredevil's now mandatory watching because it's been retroactively been put back into the canon of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, hooray!
Yeah, I hear he's a good lawyer.
How about that?
That is part of what finally got me to quit dragging my feet on it and check the thing out. But yeah, the pre-Disney Plus shows, I don't think anybody was sure how they were going to play those. It always seemed like it was a B-canon sort of thing, just like when they write comics based on a show or something like that. Like, the show or the movies happened in the comics did not happen in the show or the movie in turn. But, alright, now I guess they did, which we'll see how they handle that. But yeah, Daredevil is pretty good, and I have to give it mad props for its supposedly worst season of the three. It starts out, the very first thing it does is actually make me feel for the Punisher for the first time, at least on screen. Like,
somebody feeling sorry for the Punisher other than the usual?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought that the Punisher was gonna, edgelord me out a little bit, or at best be a compelling character whose side you're not on, who I guess, you understand how his MO bounces off of other characters' MOs more than you, consider him a protagonist for any reason except, I love it when guys' heads I don't have to feel sorry about explode. But no, I mean, they actually, the whole, the combination of, basic life philosophy and how characters this grizzled and who have been through this much would say it to each other. It gets you to the point where you're like, okay, if there was, some kind of ex-Marine whose life was this messed up and to whom it made this much sense to take this approach, I don't think I could be the one to look him in the eye and tell him he's wrong. I'm kind of a, pampered pansy who really doesn't know that much about what life is like. I mean, I'd certainly appreciate if there was someone who could, and they kind of put Daredevil in that role, but, you appreciate that he has a bit of a tough time, that it's a mental workout matching him barb for barb and point for point.
I would think it'd be fun. Yeah, I would agree. That'd be kind of, I wonder if there is that kind of exchange between Daredevil and the Punisher, and when Punisher's like, what it's like, you've just been a pampered pansy, and Daredevil's like, well, you can see.
Yeah, no, that. If you haven't seen it, but episode 2, 3, something like that, there's a scene where the circumstances are that, Punisher and Daredevil are mentally battling or trying to verbally dig and see who's gonna give first, and it goes from civil nonchalant to both of these guys just pulling out every just ounce of passion they have for what they want the fate of men's and women's lives to be. It gets intense in a compelling way. So, but yeah, Daredevil is good. You knew that. If you off chance didn't know that, as Gator said, Daredevil and possibly the other Defenders are getting put back in the MCU, so you might want to get on that.
Except for probably Iron Fist.
Yeah, well, Iron Fist, like, his reviews were low, but his ratings were high. Like, I mean, I could see Disney Plus wanting it to be like, oh, well, we can fix that.
Iron Fist is one of those weird shows where, like, there's a controversy about it, but it's actually it's sort of like one of those controversies, like, the whole controversy is like, all the main characters are a white kid, like, rich white guy who's a martial artist, is like, they should be an Asian character, but that argument in itself is racist.
And
wait a minute, where to start again? What happened?
Like, part of the reason, like, Iron Fist got so downvoted and all that, because, like, they're like, I can't believe they cast, like, a white rich kid, like, protagonist as, like, the super martial artist, like, trained in these old mystic martial arts. He's like, yeah, but that's what the comic character is, and then the argument itself, you look at that argument is racist and on of itself. It's like there can't be a martial artist who's not Asian. Like, it's basically, it's one of those trying not to be racist makes you racist sort of situations.
I mean, it depends a little bit on context, I will admit. Like,
it's like Snake Eyes. Iron Fist Black,
people get upset that the original Snake Eyes, as they're called, is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But also outside of Marvel, you forget possibly two other ultra famous billionaires who happen to be white. One of them happens to be Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think context just plays a role. Like, it's not 2012 anymore where we were like, oh, see, we're all on the same page. We are all equal. Therefore, if wanting them not to be just because is bad, then wanting them to be just because is bad. And now, like, we pampered, middle-class kids are getting a, heavy dose of, hey, wake up and smell the coffee. It'd be fine if it really was all equal to start with, but it's not. Like,
no, the thing is, like, I just bring this up.
The past 80, 100, well, heck, you could argue when pop culture became pop culture, but yeah, the fact that, every single protagonist, the best writers put their heart and soul behind being white guys, because that's just, without even thinking about it, protagonists, they were supposed to be able to project the traits they identified most strongly onto. It's like, okay, great that we realize that's not how it works anymore, but that doesn't stop, or that doesn't change 100 years of momentum of, just creating nothing like that, and everybody looking to empathize with anyone in pop culture being mostly left to reach for characters like that. Like, you don't just, I mean, sitting back and waiting for it to change results in a lot of waiting. Sometimes you do need a good hard shove, which is hard to do well, like, so it's circumstantial, is my point.
Well, I was just trying to go, like, I'm not being, like exaggerating. No, there literally was, like, controversy in, like, news articles, like, online news media articles, so take about how legitimate those news sources are. But, like, there's lots of news articles and we're back a day when Iron Fist, like, first came out, like, how dare they approach, and it was all right. But yeah, it was.
Otherwise, like, didn't people just say that? Okay, go ahead.
I was saying, like, that was just, like, the hilarious. Like, I'm not exaggerating. That literally was news articles, but basically, how dare they cast this person as this? You know, like, it was stupid. I think that's the main point. Is like that show has problems besides its casting, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like, well, I honestly never heard the controversy, which is not to say it didn't exist, because there are a lot of news, like, 2-bit news sources that, as they like to put it, can't afford integrity, like, that just, hey, this will get noticed, this is getting noticed, so I want to write an article that will get me praised as passionate and an ally and things, or an article about how all the child stars that have aged poorly so I can call Mara Wilson ugly and get paid for it. But yeah, there are news articles that suck. But yeah, just generally what I heard was that it's just like a C-tier martial arts show.
Yeah, it's because I watch it, but yeah, it is sort of like a martial art. It's very similar to like Green Arrow in terms of like it's sort of like plot, but like adding slight mysticism. I've seen some people. I've seen clips of it, but it's like it's not the best. Like that's why I said the biggest problem isn't the casting. It's just like it's a very unfocused sort of show, and it just doesn't have that spark that a lot of the other Marvel Netflix adaptations had. Because like Daredevil was on fire, Punisher was pretty popular too, and then what was the other one?
Jessica Jones and Luke Cage were up there, I think.
Yeah, Luke Cage. Like what's his character's name?
Besides Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Punisher.
Well, his name. I don't know why I think Luke Cage is an actor's name, but yeah, that's the person's name.
Okay. Yeah, Jessica Jones was the second most of the bunch, wasn't it? Or was it Punisher?
I think that was more the forgotten one. I think Punisher was, because Daredevil was a big one, and I think Punisher was sort of like the successful spin-off of Daredevil, essentially.
Okay.
And then Jessica Jones sort of like was its own thing, and then like Iron Fist was sort of like the weird one of the bunch.
Redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
I thought Luke Cage was the forgotten one, though. The one that, people will happily say is underrated because it's, getting a lot of...
It's unfortunate about, Luke Cage kind of flying under the radar, but then again, with the brouhaha that was Black Panther,
That really... I hate to say that, but yeah, that was really...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, that really is just sad. I was like, oh, guys, I really wish... I really wish we would have got more performances out of that one actor. He's such a good Black Panther.
Chadwick Boseman?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that hit hard. That hit hard specifically for my people and such. It hit us real hard. There were and there are more performances other than Black Panther that he's absolutely spectacular in. Like there's one there's the NFL there's a movie about the NFL and trades. He's not
Concussion?
But not Concussion. It's another one. It's the one with Kevin Costner in it. I don't remember what it's called. I don't remember what it's called.
I've seen the one you're talking about too.
But he's in it, and even for the scenes that he's in, it's still good. There's also a Netflix one that I really recommend called The Five Bloods. Amazing. And also the last one, the final one he did was Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, I believe. Amazing.
Draft Day.
Draft Day, that's it. Draft Day. So for whatever scenes he's still great in them. But again, The Five Bloods and also Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. That's like I think that was like the last one he did. But yeah, it's this whole thing about recast T'Challa and everything. I don't know if you can. I mean, you can, but you can. I mean, everybody's gonna be like, the feeling ain't gonna be the same. But but I don't know. But yeah, I agree with you, Ninja. I wish we could have gotten more out of it. But health and such. You know what I mean?
Because I had issues with the Black Panther film, but like he was not one of them. He was so good. He was like one of the better castings, and he was one of the better Marvel castings in a while. And he just because the way to describe his character is like the way I like to describe like his performance as Black Panther reminded me so much of why I love Terry McGinnis's like Batman Beyond. It's like he sort of captures that youthful spirit where like that. He's not necessarily the smartest or brightest. Like hell, his sister's the smarter one of the group.
True.
And his sister's the stunning super genius.
Yeah,
right. It's just sad, and
it's
she's
just like
she's
he's
the
that.
princess, but she's the queen. But she's the queen of sass, honestly.
Yeah.
But like they sort of capture that youthful spirit, but also like the relatable aspect. Like he is sort of like these like champion hero of like his people, and like that's. And the same way, like, but Terry McGinnis's Batman isn't about scaring criminals too much. Yeah. He's more like a super cop sort of like thing. Like he inspires pride more in
people's
people.
Champion.
Yeah, exactly. And really thing is, even though as wonderful as Black Panther is, to me, that was the kind of story about African culture that personally, I had been waiting for years to see, and I didn't know. I've been waiting for years to see it. This is, to me, that's like, okay, reaches above it. It honors. I always say this to people. It honors where we were, but it also shows where we can be and beyond, all in one premise. But also Luke Cage, however, as that was really good too. And I think Luke Cage needs. I don't want it to be in Black Panther's shadow, because that's really good in itself too. To me, that shows like where we are now. That's a present, and it's great in itself. To me, it belongs alongside Black Panther, and nothing should be casting a shadow on anyone, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like if anything, the shadow might be, as much as Black Panther, it might have been just like that Luke Cage came across a little too like late, like just at the wrong time. Like Daredevil, oh great, we'll watch that. Punisher, oh yeah, he was great in Daredevil, we'll watch that too. Jessica Jones, yeah, I guess some of us might be feeling that. I mean, they're saying it's really good, and Luke Cage, another one, okay, I guess we'll try. Iron Fist, I'm not trying anymore, you guys are just throwing stuff at us now.
I think I can't remember timeline wise, but I think Luke Cage mostly got screwed over because of the Disney deal and dropping them.
I would probably imagine so, and that is just a shame because that's just a shame because Luke Cage is great too, and I feel like it should be getting as much praise as Panther as well.
Yeah.
I'd love to see more of Cage. If somebody somewhere in Hollywood or whatever will pick it up and then be like, all right, I'm going to develop this the way it should be.
I mean, Disney probably eventually will because they need stuff to put on their Disney Plus.
I don't.
Well, I mean, they said there's the contract deals. They said like they 2 years, something like that, has to go by before they can take any of the Netflix shows as a property and continue them. So we might. What did they cancel them in 2020, 2019? Whatever it was, we might be waiting a little longer. But that said, they've I think all of their futures are right now labeled as uncertain, not canceled. In fact, Daredevil and even Kingpin's actor have definitely been reutilized. Luke Cage's actor, from what I've read, he's just kind of happy he got to put in the great work he did. Like, he's not optimistic that it's going to continue, although he said he would if it does. There's that. Kind of think of it, though, like, I was wondering because I know these guys eventually go to form the Defenders, a team I don't actually know that much about, and except for the fact that most of them were very much not the Defenders when that was an ongoing comic book. But, I did look up the theme, though, and it finally made sense to me, both what I'd heard about them and the current incarnation, is that the defining trait of the Defenders is that they are not a defined team, that they are characters who very much consider themselves individual forces, dealing with their own thing, who are going to work together this time because sometimes that's what it takes. So Hulk ends up a weirdly, heavily recurring member with them because, hey, outsiders who want to be outsiders together. I can get behind that.
Good idea.
I was like, independent together.
Yeah. That's it too. I don't know if we have a ton to talk about otherwise. I mean, I guess now might be as good a time as any to bring up that we've been... Oh, actually, one, we've been watching Isao Takahata's Heidi, if anybody's ever heard anything about that. Like, before he became Miyazaki's partner in crime in Studio Ghibli, Takahata, of the two, I think he was a little older and he had a little more of a career before Ghibli than Miyazaki did. He did a little handful of movies and a couple of shows, and Heidi, kind of ironic for a book that was, that even picked up some backlash for being, kind of asininely happy-pappy Christian, even in its own mid-1800s time. Yeah. Heidi still has a very positive reception in Japan, and I think Miyazaki once referred to it as Takahata's masterpiece, so
yeah.
Daylover and I couldn't resist that, had to check it out. We're about 15 episodes in out of 52. Definitely don't recommend binging it because it's not the most bingeable show. It does not feel like I'm watching Lost Chapter of Studio Ghibli. It does feel like I'm watching kind of pre-Studio Ghibli, like that.
There's still a lot of beautiful things, though.
Yeah, like you see that uncanny Tortoro-esque ability to make the mundane, the everyday, nuanced and detailed and interesting and just capable all the more of, invoking the emotions that you might feel in such a scenario. But yeah, like I said, it's kind of a prototype. There's definitely a lot of downtime here. It's a much more leisurely pace than even something like Tortoro, which is where I say it might not be the most bingeable show, but I would not say there's no merit in that. Like it might actually, because I'm not sure that's what I'm going to say when it's done, because it seems like it's using its slow burn to kind of build things one on top of the other and form nuance on top of nuance. Like the first 8 or 10 episodes are just how 5-year-old Heidi, lovable but for her age pretty sharp, comes to live with her grandpa, the misanthrope, who he doesn't like the village at the bottom of the mountain he lives on, and they don't like him, and this aunt that's sending her to live with him doesn't really like him either, but she doesn't have much of a choice, or at least she says she doesn't. And then within about a half hour, grandpa's already getting a little softer towards Heidi, just because
it's Heidi, yeah.
Well, it's like she doesn't see surliness, and she doesn't see she doesn't see, I guess, implications of you should respect the fact that I'm grumpy, but she does, as grandpa puts it, see what's in front of her. She's a quick learner, and then he's already, it's like they make it very clear that the surly thing is just an act, that the rather not be around people is not because I can't be around people for 5 minutes without wanting to tear their heads off. It's because they don't really get me and I don't really get them. But he's actually a pretty good, wise human being. And then there's that, and there's all the little nuances of living on a mountainside. Some kid in the village takes everybody, including grandpa's goats, up to the pasture every day, and like how that's for all intents and purposes, he has a job at age 11, but it's also, once you're able to do it, pretty high-spirited and fancy-free, and he's quickly Heidi's best friend despite a 6-ish year age gap, and when you live on a mountain, you sleep on a bed of hay and you eat bread and goat cheese for every meal, but, well, the artistry makes it look pretty good. Okay, so all the happy-pappy stuff like that, and then by the next several episodes, they're building, things that invade that lifestyle. Hunters who might shoot your favorite baby animals, for example. Peter's grandma, who has that moment we've all been to where you discover the idea of permanence for the first time, that she can't see, and Heidi is trying to, oh, wait, that's not right. Shouldn't we open the window to get some light in here? No, that cannot help my eyes to see. Well, what about in springtime when it gets really, really bright? Nope, nothing can ever help my eyes to see again. And then, they just have Heidi take a minute, and then she just bursts out crying for the first time in the entire show, and you're like, yeah, the first time, like, yeah, you kind of had to confront something permanent like that. Like, I remember I was, 3-4 years old, and my, dad telling me that he was always going to have a scar on his leg for something that happened to him when he was a kid was enough to make me cry. Just like, yeah, you forget, and stuff like this is stunningly good at reminding you that permanence is a scary thing the first time you hear about it. Okay, so I'm rambling on, but it's like, it's kind of making its craft known, and I mean, in some ways it seems like it's still a prototype, like even the, like increasingly complicated stuff we get is not finished product Ghibli yet, but I mean, I know that the story goes some more complicated places, so I am really not sure.
I'll recommend it to anybody that likes animation.
Yeah. I mean, okay, for the first 10 episodes, like, long story short, you're gonna be like, okay, this would certainly be a good, Playhouse Disney morning of PBS show. It would be the one that, at least didn't, like, coo at you, and then they were sad because it wasn't one of those shows that looked like it was made on $15 by hiring a couple of very condescending performers to talk over stock footage, but but it's not quicker paced than your average very young kid show. It's not not yet. It's not much more complicated. Again, it seems like they're starting to make themselves known with like how life gets a little more complicated over time and a little scarier, and how like what you've already learned has to, without being said, come back into play a little bit. And okay, so I don't know about this guy, Isao Takahata, but I think Daylover and I also, actually, we have seen something. We're starting to go on a little bit of an Isao Takahata kick, trying to fill out the Studio Ghibli movies we've seen. Like his half of the, Takahata and Miyazaki, we all know how Miyazaki was like a slam bang mix of, whimsical and fantastic and, stunningly relatable. Takahata leaned more towards the stunningly relatable. There was an undercurrent of pessimism in a lot of his work. And I forgot the one thing we have seen that we could have said.
What?
My Neighbors the Yamadas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the latest one of his that we got to, and it's based on a comic strip, and it plays like a bunch of comic strips slammed together, but, I mean, all of these slightly pessimistic stories that, some of these comic strips you might have heard where, that family, they just can't seem to win, but we love them anyway, they're moving like that. I don't know. I don't know when it happened. At some point in the movie, I'm like, wait a minute, am I feeling for this family now? Do I feel like I know them all of a sudden? When did that happen? It must have been like towards somewhere between story 38 and story 56 about them. But yeah, the climax is the dad giving a speech at a reception because he lost his notes about how, even though it seems pessimistic, the key to getting through life is, just repeating like a mantra, whatever will be, will be. That, you can't know if your expectations are going to be met. You have to roll with what you actually got and try to enjoy it on some level. And it sounds like something you probably heard before. And with that in mind, it was really more touching than it should be. So, Miyazaki wasn't the only heavy hitter in Studio Ghibli, let's say. That's my thing on Takahata so far. I don't know exactly where I'm going to come down on him, but also seems like he was a bit of a one of a kind.
Yeah.
As far as Studio Ghibli goes, though, he was, I only just realized studying for this, Studio Ghibli had stunningly bad luck. Like, Takahata, Miyazaki, and that was pretty much it. Like, They had a successor in the works for Whisper of the Heart. He dies young. They had Miyazaki's son who rolled up his sleeves and said, all right, I'll give a shot at inheriting the family legacy, and was okay, I guess, even though most people think he has a 1-2 record as far as his movies go. There was the guy who directed The Cat Returns, who was pretty decent actually, and then got shuffled back to doing anime shows or producing them or whatever, and never directed a movie again. And then they made a couple of movies in the last few years where everybody who made them jumped ship to other companies. Studio Ghibli might not have had the best luck. Okay. As you can see, I've put a lot of unfiltered thought into this. I'm going to yield now to really other topics. Stop keeping us here forever.
Carlos, you want to go next, or I think he's back.
I thought he did go.
Yeah, he left the chat, but he's thing popped back up.
Yeah. What about you, Ninja? While we wait.
All right. Not much media things. A few media things. I've been catching up with some anime. One of which I finally watched the anime movie Bell, which is the most recent. I cannot pronounce his name. The guy behind the Digimon movies, third internet-themed movie. From first of Digimon movie
Guys,
and
I'm
Civil
here.
Wars. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. The only other thing I wanted to mention was about the Konami decided to shadow drop a very interesting competitor for the online trading card game simulators in the form of Master Duel on the 19th. And legitimately, it probably has everyone's pockets just being like, wait, we're not having our money being taken away forcefully in order to be the best? Is that right? Because right now, this duel simulator is legitimately one of the best new things that has been released. It seems to be like a lot of fun. I have not played it myself personally due to my own feelings about Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself and the meta playstyle. But yeah, it seems to be like a really great incentive to actually play the card game, especially now that we're all sheltered into our homes somewhat.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's legitimately like really fun for like a lot of people, and I hope I actually can at least try the game for myself and give you my perspective of it from as someone who feels like a bit of a jaded Yu-Gi-Oh player who really feels rubbed in the wrong way about it, even though it kind of feels the same way about Magic. But yeah, that's just me with card games.
Okay.
All right. I guess going off what I was saying earlier, like I said, I've seen Belle, which I felt was good. Very strong, references to Beauty and the Beast, Disney's Beauty and the Beast specifically. And overall, I thought it was a good film. Then I catching up on a few animes, sort of going through Banished from the Heroes Party, and finished off the case study of Bananas, which is a sort of okay steampunk anime show. Then I'm also right now catching up through Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in Dungeon Season 3? Because I forgot to mention I got High Dive on a super big sale for $24 for a whole year. So, yeah, I'm going to go through some of that catalog recently. And then, let me see, I could Bell. Then another anime I actually will be rewatching soon because they finally shipped my DVD, Blu-rays, is the Interspecies Reviewer, my Blu-ray set is finally shipped. Even though it's supposed to ship in December, it finally is actually shipped. So soon I'll have that again. But and also doing some game stuff too. Let me see. I finally finished Tales of Arise. It took me nearly 50 hours, and I finally beat that game. And it was okay. The art direction and presentation, the world design and all that, is great. The storytelling leaves to be desired.
Okay.
To summarize a lot of the story, like the first half of the storytelling can best be summarized as slavery is bad. No shit. And then it gets so weird in the second half. It's just weird pacing, but like overall, the characters are good, the combat's okay, and like I said, the presentation is just freaking gorgeous. It has some of the best art direction in JRPG in a while, so I will give them credit that. And then also going on other games, I finished off. Let me see. What's it called? Got a PlayStation Guide to make sure I pronounce it right. Hybrexia 2.
Oh,
so
okay.
like a space shooter. So like not Galaga, but sort of in the same sort of space shooter. Then I'm also finally getting around to Celeste, which I got on sale over the holidays, which is a fun but extremely frustrating game. It keeps track of like your death count per like level. Like I think in the second like level area, which the levels are pretty large, it'll probably take you like 1 or 2 hours to go through a level. Because if unless you're like blitzing through it, but like generally it'll probably take you a while. But yeah, like the second level, which is the one I died the most in so far, yeah, I died 700 something times.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have gone if it was a real old school game.
Yeah, that's just sort of the formula for this. It's a frustrating and sort of annoying game, but it's sort of not bad. I have learned just basically muting it and then putting it on some podcast and playing. Because it really is like a lot of things are more trial and error because you generally know what you need to do, but you just have to basically have the muscle memory to do it. But yeah, presentation, that's a very good presented game.
And if
So
you
like,
use the 15 hours on it, it seems to be a nice game. Jeez.
But yeah, it sort of reminds me, like, I don't say like story presentation is not as good as Undertale, but sort of in the Undertale realm of like for text, just for like basically a text based story and narrative and all that. It has a whole lot of weight for that. Because not as good as Undertale. Undertale I feel really lived up to the hype. This one I feel is sort of underwhelming me slightly, but I would still say it's good. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. So I guess we can move on to the news stories. Which sort of like the third one goes into the big subject of the thing. But the first one I guess is probably the least important, but also just sort of hilarity. Disney announced a limited edition popcorn bucket based off I think it's a what's it called? What's a science Disney World Kingdom thing? Epcot. Epcot, that's the name of it.
Epcot.
Yeah, there's like a dragon, basically mascot-ish character. They have a way back when, I think probably before I was born. But yeah, it's like an old mascot, like this little derpy-ish dragon. So like, hey, to honor that, let's have a limited edition popcorn bucket. And people got into a 7-hour line to get this popcorn bucket, which they immediately did the very 2020 thing of, hey, let's put it on eBay for like 10 times what we bought it for.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a popcorn bucket thing, which drove people crazy, which but yeah,
that and Szechuan sauce.
And then to slightly less sad but also more annoying, at least personally for me, Disney news is Disney has announced that Red is going to be exclusive on Disney Plus and it's not going to theaters. Screw you, Disney.
Yeah.
Wait, did we not talk about that last time, or? Because I mean, if we haven't taken our proper shots at that yet, allow me to help get them in. Darn it, Disney!
Actually, I think we might have. Because I think it might have happened right before we did. But either way, I'll give a second shot at it. Screw you, Disney. And Yeah, it's like, this is just so frustrating. I know it's also disappointing to, like, apparently the Pixar, like, workers themselves, because, yeah, they're essentially being demoted to a direct-to-DVD, like, film studio. And I mean, honestly, I don't think that's what Disney's intending. I think their intent is essentially they don't want to put a Pixar movie out until they can get, like, pre-pandemic Pixar movie money levels. Because I feel they don't want to damage the brand by having, like, a Pixar movie only make like 50 million at the box office. So they prefer just to keep on Disney Plus to sort of maintain the image of Pixar as their, like, very premium thing that, like, oh, we're just giving this premium value to our Disney Plus thing. But, like, I think that's their intent, but I still think it's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's a play-as-you-go strategy because, I mean, we are still living in a pandemic world, but yeah, it
pandemic
will, like,
world where Spider-Man made over $1.5 billion.
And was the first movie to do that when it was starting to become a regular thing before pandemic. I mean, I'm sure some marketing executive could, if you twisted their arm, tell you in great detail on why they chose to do that for reasons other than, well, we figured Pixar could be thrown to the wolves, but I mean... Money. Yeah, well, I mean, it all has to do with what is going to make them the most money. That's what, how...
Well, like I said, I think my what I feel like for this specific case is I feel it's actually them not wanting to protect the brand more than anything else, which is sort of weird for this situation. Because I just feel they don't want to release a Pixar film, and then basically they do not want another whatever that dinosaur one was.
Yeah, the Good Dinosaur.
They do not want another Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're just, like, backing up with their hands in the air while this thing falls, I mean, if that's the gist of the explanation, I mean, unless they've seen it and it's the next Cars 2, I am gonna be disappointed, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, yeah. It's basically where I was going with that, because I mean, like, you know that Pixar is at least pretty committed to quality. I mean, they don't, as of the 2010s, hit bullseye every time, but you really hate the notion that it's, like, that they, are what can afford right now to be lowballed.
Yeah, I think they had a little dip in quality right after, like, a year or two after the Disney acquisition, but I think that was partially them because Disney was trying to take talent into their regular animation division, which worked out well because that's where they got Frozen and such. Like, there's a great era basically when Pixar dipped, Disney shot back up. So a Pixar feel has come back up. I think before Coco, or maybe it was Coco that where we started there being like, yeah, we're Pixar
Inside Out
again.
was seen as the big.
Yeah, maybe it was Inside Out.
Welcome back, Pixar.
Yeah, I think it was Inside Out.
Inside Out, then Coco, then Soul, I guess.
Yeah.
With your Good Dinosaurs and your onwards in between.
Yeah.
And your Finding Dory's and Incredibles 2, so yeah, Pixar, like, Inside Out, Pixar has gone from past prime Pixar to evenly split mix of decent, good, and great Pixar, I guess. I don't know. Anyone want to fight me on that? Because I'm not sure I remember these dates of all these things coming out perfectly, but I thought we were.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, they're mixed, but at the same time, they are releasing more Pixar films than they used to.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like, because I think it was like for a while, like it was like at most one a year, and it was often a gap between for Pixar films. So it was like sort of more of an event. Now it's like, oh, they'll just throw out 2 Pixar films a year sometimes. So I feel they did expand the studio enough to sort of like, even though that they're more hit or miss, they're throwing a lot more balls.
Mm-hmm. So we're getting great ones at about the same rate we were getting great ones before, just with like good or decent ones in between. Okay, and then I guess I said Inside Out, Coco, Soul. I guess there are people who Moana's Disney that might consider Luca coming up on that tier. That like some people, think Disney made their own. My Neighbor Totoro or Porco Rosso or something like that. Well, Porco had more action than Luca did, but point being their own Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah, I think going off of I think Porco Rosso is actually probably the most underrated Ghibli film.
I'm with you. Daylover's not. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying the best, but I'm saying underrated as people just forget it exists.
Disney and Pixar and Studio Ghibli, what they have in common is that they have made, besides, they each one has made a little handful of my very favorite animated movies, because I think they've made at least a little handful of everyone's favorite animated movies. But even past those, what they have in common is that much, if not most, of their output is in my tier straight below that, where other than the fact that it's not personally one of my absolute favorites, I just, as in there's not something in there that just resonates to the next level with me personally, I don't see how they could have improved it, or it's basically everything I could ask for. The only major problem I could see someone having with the bulk of their movies is just that it's its own thing in a way that they don't like. Porco Rosso, delightful, and compelling action hero story. My Neighbor Totoro, charming and very quietly profound. I'm gonna be going through these all day if you're making me go through the list. Nausicaa, great. Howl's Moving Castle,
amazing.
Borderline. Well, okay. Daylover says great. Yeah. What else do they even have? Castle of Cagliostro was only Miyazaki's, but I love that one too. Actually, that is one of my very favorites. So, missing the point I'm talking about. But, Studio Ghibli, the Princess Kaguya. Somebody help me out here. I don't know. You get it. That just, long list of great movies. It's all their
Mononoke. Isn't that Princess Mononoke?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Princess Mononoke is another next has exceeded great kind of thing. But I guess my point being, if Porco Rosso, if it is underrated, it's probably because it has a lot of other very great movies to fall in line with.
But
well, speaking about movies, did you guys hear that Sony Pictures Animations released the final movie of the quadrilogy that is Hotel Transylvania 4?
I did hear that, yeah.
Well, unfortunately for this production, even though it was the last one, guess who decided not to come in for the project?
What, Gennady didn't come in?
Yeah, Gendy, but not just him.
I guess you can't make one of those without Adam Sandler. I don't know, did one of his Happy Madison pack not come in?
No, Adam Sandler himself did not come in.
Oh. Okay.
What?
Yeah. Welcome to the age of ending a quadrilogy of movies without the main actor or the director behind the first three.
How about that?
Yeah, after the movie was delayed for months after October 1st, we thought everything was going to be fine, but then the whole thing happened again in which more diseases just kept popping up. It got pushed back to December, then it got pushed back to January with the nice Amazon Prime exclusivity deal, which Amazon thought they were going to get it on the first. But the dear studio did not have anything ready for them at that point. And they had to wait until the dear old 14th of January for them to get their movie out.
Wow.
All right, that reminds me, like,
Dog food.
And thus concludes an odd ending towards one of the most decidedly middle-of-the-road animated series to ever make Doug Walker jump up and down and scream, "No, they're great, you snobs!"
Honestly, they are good films. They're sort of like it's sort of like in the same category of Sing and Sing 2, where it's like they're entertaining, good popcorn films, but they're not something you're going to put on a shelf as a classic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I know the first two had people like other than basically that reaction had like almost picked up an edge of bad will against them just for the fact that Dracula is presented as the ultimate cliche that needs to die hover parent. No, my adult daughter does not get to say what is best for her. I do. Because I am a good, caring dad. That's how that works, right?
But I also want to mention, like, an Amazon Prime thing. I forgot. I did actually get around to watching the Wheel of Time thing on there, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't like. It's definitely not the Game of Thrones killer it was sort of hyped as, but I feel it's. I haven't really watched all of Witcher again, but I think it's in the same sort of category. Where it's like a very good, entertaining film, but it's not like an award winner.
I must admit, I started on The Witcher. I don't think I'm going to finish it. I think it's boring. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Did you just watch the first episode?
You don't want to toss a coin to your wish. You don't want to toss a coin to your Witcher.
Did you just watch the first episode?
No, I didn't. Just watched it. Like I watched some of the first series.
Yeah, because that's all I watch, but I'm aware that that's sort of like the worst episode. Everyone says like you have to sort of endure.
But even I went past, what was it, episode 5, and I was just like, this is not going to get any better. So, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they say you've given up too soon.
Maybe. That's just
But I guess this brings us to the final news story, which is sort of going to transition to a topic because it's sort of big industry shaking news. Is like Microsoft has announced they are planning to acquire Activision Blizzard.
Oh, nice.
How about that?
For just south of $70 billion.
So we can actually get a Sony Blizzard.
$70 billion.
$70 billion.
Yeah,
sounds
because
like something.
The key thing is that the key announces like this deal isn't basically confirmed yet. They still have to basically go through all the legalities of it and also make sure it's not. This will probably be challenged or at least studied by the trade organization because this is such a big deal. So it could still be blocked as a monopolistic or trustish move. But yeah, that's the wheels have started turning on this.
Or Disney could get their grubby hands on it.
This is like a sort of scary news because this is where we give a reference. Like this is going to basically mean gives them rights to Call of Duty franchise, the Blizzard Diablo franchise, StarCraft franchise, Overwatch franchise. What's the one? World of Warcraft franchise. This is also going to give them access to several older games, and also going to hurt. This is where it hurts me. Is they're going to have their license of Crash and Spyro. The last one hit hard for me. That's the only one that really hit hard.
Crash hits a lot of hard for me too.
But and also they probably responsible for like probably the biggest portion of this. Price is actually they own the Candy Crush side of Activision Blizzard, which we laugh and forget about, but that really mobile is a huge market onto itself and probably is the biggest chunk of that like $70 billion.
That's true.
And this basically comes after Activision was in a whole bunch of controversy over sexual harassment allegations and employer rights abuses and all that. So Microsoft came in and was like, "Hey, your market cap, we'll give you $20 billion over that and buy you."
Mm.
Oh well.
Hey. No,
They're getting
probably not
rich
something.
getting richer. The rich getting richer.
But this is sort of a scary move for me, just because this really shows that Microsoft they're not going to accept being second place in the game studio more, and they don't care how they have to buy to shove people out of the market. I feel this is because this acquisition is not going to be profitable for them for over a decade. Because again, they played over their stock value for this. And like the revenue, like they make a lot of revenue and profit, but like they're only profiting of that studio is like $2 or $3 billion a year.
Mm.
So think about how long this is going to take for them to actually get profit from that.
Well, maybe they have something in the works. You never know.
Well, here's the only reason it works is if this is part of Microsoft's, not just Microsoft Xbox brands, but more Microsoft the studio. Microsoft isn't an innovative company. They basically just use their power and wealth to basically push everyone else out of the market. And this seems what they're going like we're going to do it to video games. They're going to basically buy everything we can and basically make it where you have to go through us to be part of the console gaming markets, which is sort of scary because they can not just like take the losses of billions per year. They can take losses of tens of billions of dollars per year just to make sure they can drive everyone else out of the market or make them fall in line, which is
they make it.
concerning.
That just sounds like they may just shoot themselves in the foot before
It's
any
vintage
traction
Rockefeller.
happens.
Yeah, you could sell it all again.
Used by Rockefeller, used by the Waltons, and now...
Like I said, used by Microsoft before. This is how they sort of dominated the early PC market after they basically copied Apple's operating system. They basically dominated the open PC market. And then anytime competition would come up, they would snuff them out. Which is why they also were already part of a antitrust allegation in the early I think it was before the 2000s, but yeah. So this is concerning, at least to me. And to summarize it, like after this deal went announced, like Sony's stock lost $20 billion in value.
What?
Wow.
That quick?
Yeah. To be fair, it's a stock market, so it's probably already up like to less than $10 billion drop or stuff like that. But
oh my god.
Because because essentially to give a overview of the thing, in the video game market, there's sort of 3, maybe 4 big multi-platform publishers. There's Activision, Blizzard, Ubisoft, and EA. And then also sort of a 4th player, but the least Celeste, but there's also there is 2K, which is basically Grand Theft Auto. But they're really the big 3 are Activision, EA, and Ubisoft. And Microsoft is buying one of them.
And the Titans start to topple each other right on us.
Well, I would, if I had the money for it, I would get Crash and Spyro too.
That's like I said, that's the one that personally hurts me. Like, I really
just think about all of the game and merch and opportunities that are in the games. Like, take it and be like, yeah, we're going to make this a thing. No.
My hope, sort of miserable hope is there's a year before this goes through and they're supposed to be operating as a separate company until then. I hope that Spyro 4 game is already enough in development that's going to come out to Sony systems because I really want that.
I think so too.
Apparently Crash 4 was great. I want that for Spyro because I love that. I love that remake trilogy so much.
Yeah, the remake is amazing. It's beautiful.
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
Is this stupid? I'm just gonna be interested. I feel like entering something in random, but I really want a Lollipop Chainsaw 2.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds like a great idea.
Okay, random thing over. Back to the void.
Well, here's a random-ish thing that I think we might have missed bringing up Turning Red, because who heard we're getting a second Pixar movie that I think we haven't covered coming out later this year?
Which one's that?
Lightyear, described by the producers as, hey, what if we made the Buzz Lightyear movie that Andy went to see in the first Toy Story?
Oh.
Meh.
Oh yeah, we brought that up when we were going over last time.
We brought that up last time, yeah.
Yeah, while we were going over movies of the year, then we all agreed it was like meh on Buzz Lightyear.
Must have gone by so fast.
Actually, a thing that I'm looking really forward to is the new Squid Game series.
Yeah, well,
it's coming too fast.
Really? I thought that was one of those things that was still just kind of happening whenever it's happening.
Well, apparently the creator is being, like, extremely working himself to the bones. I hope he doesn't lose more teeth, though, the poor guy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Do too, but...
that reminds me of another Netflix things is, we never brought it up, but like, yeah, they announced this sort of like the people behind the Dragon Prince, and I was like, oh yeah, that we're sort of, they said they're sort of aiming for a release in 2022, the end of 2022.
Yes.
Which probably means expect 2023.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah.
At least they're getting it.
Yeah,
I guess
like,
last time...
Yeah, I brought this up before, and like, there's something that went wrong with this production. We're like, because yes, Netflix only approved them for 3 seasons at first, and they stopped production after that. But they still had all the like voice acting, casting, and all that. They had a lot of the production work already done. They essentially just had to move on, and they probably should have had the story outline already before that. So yes, there should have been a roll up, but like I think it was like 2019. Was the last one. So for like, there's going to be like a 2019 to like 2023. That's like a 3 or 4 year gap. And like, that just, something went wrong there.
Actually, I also just thought about something, and it might be random, but I'm really looking forward to the Critical Role, the Voice Machina episodes.
I'm now really curious about it.
I want that so bad. Have you seen Critical Role before, Jen?
Not all the way. I've heard of it.
You
need
to.
Not all the way. I've never watched an episode all the way through. Although I have heard.
Yeah. You have to at least try to see if you can watch. I'll not recommend season 1, even though that's the season that we're going to see animated. I will actually recommend season 2.
Oh, cool. So I am curious about the Vox Machina.
Like I am waiting so bad. My favorite character is also in Vox Machina so far.
Which one's that?
Grog.
Oh, love Grog. I can definitely say that. I can definitely say this from what I've seen. I love Grog.
No. Then you definitely need to watch the full. All of the episodes. I know it's a lot, Jen, but it's going to be worth it.
And what I've seen, I do love Grog. I do love Grog. I know that, and also I can understand why there are so many fangirls that would probably take applications in order to brush Matt Mercer's hair.
Yes, that's true.
I imagine some sort of throne as the dungeon master, and then have people brushing his hair.
Yeah, they need to put that on what is that? On one of their goals, to be able to brush Matt Mercer's hair. To see that being gone in 2 seconds.
And that I'd be like that, and the person who gets the job would be like, my life's work. I was like, okay, I get it. I was like, okay, I get it. That hair is absolutely too bloody freaking perfect. Yeah, we like to brush that.
Yeah, but the only reason why I didn't recommend 1 over 2 is like they got so much better sound equipment and, you know, what is that? What do you call that? Scenery, like in their studio. If that makes any sense.
I have no idea.
No, but and also Matt, of course, with his insane scenes of battle maps.
Yeah,
Wow.
I need to actually break down and actually watch a full episode.
Without saying any spoilers, there's going to be a set at one point where you're just like, is this even like, how did he make this?
Right.
Why?
Just recently, I just found one of my favorite Actually, I just recently found one of my favorite VAs is now part of it too. So I'm like, okay, well then, I'm like, okay.
Who's the voice?
It's Robbie Damon.
Oh, Robbie Damon, yeah, he's good.
Oh my God. I've now subscribed to him and I'm watching his vlogs. Oh my gosh, the man is awesome.
Have you seen who's going to be the queen? When I saw that, I was like, wow, okay. You're just getting the voice of like Warcraft to voice everything. But I guess like they already knew each other because like Matt and some of the other ones are also voicing for StarCraft and Warcraft and stuff like that. So I was just like, but of all people, her. I was just like, yeah.
I'm curious. I am curious. So
yes.
one of these days, I will actually. Okay, I'll make it on my long list of media to complete. Finally, sit down and watch a full episode of Critical Role.
Yeah.
It is on my list. Here we go.
That's on your to-do list, like with everything else, right? Yeah. But my favorite character for episode 2 is Yasha. But I think you're going to like Jester more. I see you liking Jester.
Okay, sounds good. I'll have to actually start doing that.
And from the really new one, it's Fern.
Okay.
I'm not stopping. Let's just say, like, I watched all of it, and also watched their what is that, one shots, like their Doom one shots. There's the World of Warcraft with famous people, and there's like all of the sub things too. Like I'm so deep into it.
Yeah.
It's not good.
I definitely have to take a look at that.
Yeah, I might need a glimpse of it at some point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So anyway.
Yay!
In other news, does anybody have anything?
No. Anybody has something else?
Nope, nothing to think of.
But or you just want to hear me and Jenn gush over Critical?
Maybe later when I actually have more stuff to gush over, because as of like I said, yes. I've yet to watch a full episode.
Oh no, you have to promise me if you watch the first series, right?
Yeah.
When you get halfway, please tell me what you think about like certain things.
Okay. I will definitely do so. And then later we can gush.
Yes. And I'll keep all of the spoilers to myself because I'm so nice.
Yes. It's a good practice.
Yeah, this is going to be like really insane practice. It's almost like with Second not have been watching Game of Thrones. Like he's only been watching like one episode. Like he have been seeing, some of the spoilers, but I was just like, you haven't been reading the books as I have. So.
Oh yeah. It's real. One of those things. It's like the series is great. The book series is great. I'm like, you know what? Just choose. If you want to choose both, go ahead. If you want to choose one or the other, go ahead too. Either way, you're going to have an amazing time.
Oh, so I know what we're going to get for dinner next time I meet you.
Oh, what's that?
Meat pie.
I'll have to make sure I start singing Sweeney Todd when I do something. Seems a downright shame. Shame. Seems an awful place. A nice plump frame. What's his name? Has.
Yeah. No, just kidding.
We do not condone that.
No, we don't condone that. But it was just like so funny. I was actually with some of my friends, and they wanted to watch the new episode, and I was being really terrible because they were watching the Red Wedding episode, and I gave them pie before the episode started.
Okay.
So you were being evil?
I was a little evil. Yeah. They first got it like afterwards. They were just like, ah. Why would you do that? And I was just like,
So there you have it.
And there you have it.
All right, but I guess see y'all next time.
Okay.
Till then.